And it's 2-channel, it's not quarter track, it's actually 2-track.
I was going to ask that. That's what I thought.
You can, it's 7.5 and
That's what's, to me, remarkable is that from 1 to 12,000, you can still say the same thing about them. All 12,000. I have to stress that I do not have favorites. I can't make myself have them. But I love them, each one. I've said it before. I really love looking at my own work. And I do not enjoy, generally, looking at other people's works. There are exceptions like Lee Friedlander. But they don't grow on trees. I like the whole idea and the process better than any other with dye transfer. All the first ones I had made could not have been improved. Well, they're simply quite accurate, and dye transfer is quite permanent. It's not fugitive a bit. Strickers are the best dye printers I've ever found, from all over the world. The Strickers just does better work.
Good morning, I'm Guy Strickers, and this is Irene Molly, and we are dye transfer printers. We have been printing in dye transfer for 38 years. Dye transfer is a process that was first introduced by the Eastman Kodak Company in 1946 as the first truly successful and widely used color process. It was used primarily for advertising photography. However, in 1976, there was the great William Eggleston's Guide exhibit at the Museum of Modern Art. And it really changed color photography, which had not been accepted in the photographic community until that time. And William Eggleston revolutionized art photography by the use of dye transfer in his seminal exhibition at the Museum of Modern Art.
I was thinking about the first Eggleston photograph that I had ever seen. And I was probably 16 years old and had gone to New York to see the Picasso show at MoMA. And after seeing that, wandered around the museum and ran into the green shower. I was 16 years old. I was painting at the time, had never taken a photograph myself. And I just fell in love with the green shower. It was, I think I hadn't, I'd been sort of looking at a lot of old master paintings and expressionist paintings, and I just had never seen anything like it. And I didn't know that it was a dye transfer print at the time. And it wasn't until years later that I kind of put the two together. And
so you went there to see Picasso, but you fell in love with Eggleston.
Right. Yeah, I did.
Well, I was in college and studying art photography, and I had made Kodachrome slides and made some dye transfer prints. And I could see that the young people getting into photography were very interested in color. Most of them had been working in black and white because color really wasn't accepted as a fine art medium in photography. You know, the transparency is not an object of art. It's not, people don't, they don't exhibit transparencies usually in exhibitions. You need a print, you need a physical object of art. And so it's well enough to make an excellent transparency in the studio or out in the field, but you want to print, and that is the thing. And most people, you know, this dye transfer is too demanding. You can't really be a photographer and a dye transfer printer. It's an extremely flexible process where you can control the print at the color separation level, which is the best place to control it. It's all based on these color separations. If you put your time in there, everything will be easier subsequently. But then you also have controls in making the positive matrices and in making the print. And in making the print, you can make a radically different print from one hour to the next hour, and you can keep doing that by changing the contrast of the dyes. You can take a normal set of dyes with normal contrast, and you can look at the print and say, it's too green in the shadows, and you can go half high contrast magenta, full high contrast magenta, 3/8 low contrast cyan. And so you can radically change the print. And what you're trying to do is make a print that looks as close to that transparency as can be done. And that's really what William Eggleston wants. He wants a faithful reproduction of the transparency, a full frame. Yeah, it's a craft. It's kind of nice to be in a medium that is really, it's not practiced anymore, to be, you know, I don't want to say going extinct, but, you know, it's, I don't know, there's something about it being so rarefied. Like, you know, I guess the rarity of it, it's kind of nice to do something that nobody else is doing. This color separation is not done. It used to be a big industry in the graphic arts. Everything was done. All the silkscreen, everything in all the magazines were done with continuous tone color separation. When
We had the last 4 sheets of film, and it takes 3 to make a set of mats so that an edition could be made. And I had to go into the darkroom to expose this set of mats, and it was a fairly complicated image, as most of them are. But I also, and I started thinking, well, I don't want to make a mistake. But I also had to not be tense, because when you're too tense, you can put yourself into a place to make a mistake. And I said, you know, I'm just going to treat this like any other work day. And I exposed them. Everything was beautiful. He does the processing because his arms are longer than mine. And he had the same feeling. And I was like, okay, your turn. And he looked at the box and he thought, oh, I better not mess up. And I said, don't worry. You never mess up, and you're not going to mess up this time. And we processed them, and they were great. It was a great set of mats. But it was a little sad. It was a little sad. It was a William Eggleston image. Yeah, it was.